What's up guys, Wolf here, welcome to another Diablo 4 video. I've been playing Necromancer for quite a number of days now. I've tested everything from Bone Spear to minions. Now I wanted to make a Blood Surge build. Blood skills are really strong. Now the reason why they're so good, especially towards later game in Nightmare dungeons, is the survivability. We can fortify and just become absolute tanks. A lot of healing going on. It's a very good build to use if you guys are struggling to survive. Now the damage, every now and again I noticed when utilizing Blood Surge, that's going to be the cornerstone of this build. Blood Surge is so good for clearing waves of enemies. You literally push one button and this can be spammed without without losing your essence most of the time, and you can kill entire waves of enemies by just pushing a button and the whole screen just blows up. Now this build will be very effective with an amulet that I have got. If you guys don't have this amulet, you will not get the same results. And that's why I actually have minions. Normally I would sacrifice minions, but this allows my Blood Surge to proc from each minion, which makes it so good. So just keep that in mind, guys. Before you try this build, I would recommend farming for the unique amulet for the setup to work. Now, overpower is so good in this game. Now, when I go through Nightmare dungeons all the way up to 30, I can literally kill elites and waves of enemies in about 3 to 4 procs of Blood Surge if I have got my overpower. With blood skills, you have guaranteed overpower as well. There's a lot going on, but hopefully you do enjoy this video. If you do, make sure to leave a like, subscribe. Let's get into the build guide. So this is how you're going to use this build. So I think there might be a bug with overpower damage, or maybe it's just because I haven't spec'd it properly or procced it correctly. I tried it without crit chance and crit damage, just straight up overpower. Sometimes in a Nightmare dungeon, quite a high level, the enemies are way above my level, I'll go into it and I'll kill all the elites so quickly. Even Nightmare dungeon bosses go down incredibly fast. Then every now and again, I fight an enemy or two that takes me so long to kill. I think it may be due to the fact that I haven't got enough blood orbs, or my overpower hasn't stacked correctly, but I feel like there might be a bug with overpower. Let me know in the comments down below if you guys have seen this. I can be running through Nightmare dungeons no problem for up to an hour or two, and then all of a sudden a certain wave of enemies will just completely mitigate the damage from it, and it takes me like 2 minutes to kill a few enemies. I don't know why that is, but I'll let you guys know later on once I figure it out. Now, there are many ways to proc blood orbs in this setup, which is why this is so good. Blood orbs are incredible, and you'll see shortly why. And we also have a lot of extra overpowered damage on this build, which is ridiculous. There's reasons for my minions, especially the type of minions I've got, but we'll go through that in this setup. So how I would use this build is actually really simple, guys. And this, you can adapt it to suit your own playstyle. There's many different ways you can use this in, and you can actually utilize whatever skills you want, as long as you've just got the main one, which is Blood Surge. So what I normally do is I use my Decrepify. This is going to debuff the enemies, which is really, really nice. And I think that's important to spam that before you start an engagement. And then I would utilize my Blood Surge a couple times after stacking all that overpowered damage over time before the engagement. Once I've blown them all up, then I would continuously spam my Raised Skeleton. Then my skeletons will be healed. They'll be able to do more damage, even though this is not about them. This build is all about the Blood Surge. So that's what I would do. Then I would proc Corpse Tendrils to bring them all together. Then maybe use a Decrepify, go into Blood Mist into the middle of the pack, and then just Blood Surge. But when you're leveling this build, it's quite amazing how efficient it is and how you can stand there and just tank as much damage as you want because of how good the survivability is. And the damage from Blood Surge is immense. Like, guys, I promise you, if you try this, you will be amazed. If you've got the amulet, you can use it without the unique amulet, but it's going to make you a lot stronger. It's just so crazy. You stand still and you push one button and it destroys everything around you, as you can see from the gameplay. That's normally how I do it. Then every now and again, I'll use Hemorrhage, my basic skill. You don't have to do that, but this actually has a chance to form a blood orb. I also get blood orbs from corpses every time I consume a corpse. There's so many ways to do it. To consume a corpse as well, which is why I like to spam my Raised Skeleton button and Corpse Tendrils and all of that. And also the blood Mist will do it. There's a lot going on. It heals me, it fortifies me. You don't have to use that basic skill, but it is handy. It's not about the damage. It hardly does any damage, so you can use anything else if you would like, but that's just handy for the utility. So that's how I pretty much use it, guys. Let me know down in a comment down below how, have you tried this build? Are you going to give it a try? So let's actually go into the skill tree now. So the skill tree is going to be quite simple also. You can go whichever direction you want. I have gone for hemorrhage. I have tried different combinations with this, but I felt the utility would be good. Initiates hemorrhage. This is going to give us base life and it will fortify you, which makes you a lot stronger. I do recommend giving this a go. Blood orbs are so good. We can get healed. We do more damage. It heals our minions. A lot of utility in blood orbs, and they will constantly spam. And this allows you to spawn them when if there's an enemy left. I'll just proc this and you can spawn multiple blood orbs from one enemy, which is really good. Then I have tried Blood Lance. I don't like it. You can utilize this, but I felt you might as well use Bone Spear then if you want to make that build. To be honest, I used all the uniques. I made the setup. Didn't work very well. Blood Surge, I've got 8 out of 5. This is going to be really, really good. I love the skill. It's so fun to play. You guys need to try this. So it heals you when drawing blood from enemies. You want to try and get as many enemies in the cast as possible. This will buff it a lot. So Paranormal Blood Surge now works even better than before the patch. If an enemy is damaged by Blood Surge's Nova while you are healthy, then gain 1 stack of overwhelming blood. When you have 5 stacks of it, your next Blood Surge overpowers. We got over 500% overpower, and I know you can get over 1,000% easily with the build like this once you min-max it. Then I've got Hued Flesh. This is really good as well. Your damage is up to a 4% chance to create a corpse. The more corpses, the better, because I have got a glyph on my Paragon board that gives me more damage as well whenever there's a corpse near me. So having more corpses is always a good thing. Then Blood Mist, it's your get out of jail free card if you get into trouble in higher tier nightmare dungeons. This is really good. It also detonates corpses because of a aspect I've got on my gear. This is really, really nice. And I think, I would recommend going for Ghastly Blood Mist. Blood Mist leaves behind a corpse every 1 second. You can go for this, but we've got plenty fortifying. It's up to you guys though. I've got 1 out of 5 for this. Then consuming a corpse generates 6 essence. This is really handy when you need to get your essence back. There's many ways to get essence in this build. You shouldn't really ever run out of it, but it depends on how you want to play and what skills you want to be using. Some extra damage, Feel by Death, I got 3 out of 3 as well. It just helps a bit. Then because I'm going to be using Skeletal Warriors, because of the amulet, it's really good with Blood Surge, and I'll show you guys when we look at the gear. So this is why I needed this. The Skeletal Warriors are going to be great because they've got shields, they can tank a bit more, and they spread all of that Blood Surge even further, which is why I can hit such high numbers. Then Death's Embrace, close enemies, that's handy. I didn't go for the distant one because I'm going to be close to the enemies. You don't have to play close, but I feel like it's a bit better. Some extra damage to cursed enemies because we're going to be cursing them with Decrepify, which is great. I recommend this. I've only got 3 out of 5. It's up to you. 1 is all right, even if you want to go 1 out of 5. Then I've got Aberrant Decrepify. This is also good. Moving on here, I think all of these are really strong. I've only got 1 out of 3 here. I would recommend going for all 3 out of 3 for every single one. Blood skills, more overpowered damage, heal your minions. We got a lot going on here, more fortification. Then Corpse Tendrils, this is just great for making them vulnerable. As you guys can see, Plague Corpse Tendrils, we can dish out more damage. It brings them all together. Then you can use another Decrepify. Then you can also maybe just stand in the middle and spam your Blood Surge and destroy them. It's really satisfying when you get it procced. You don't have to use this, but I do recommend it, and it consumes a corpse as well. Then 1 out of 3 for standalone. The reason why is because we needed to activate this Memento Mori. Sacrificing both Skeletal Warriors and Skeletal Mages increases sacrifice bonuses. Their sacrifice bonuses by 60%. Now, this is mainly because of the mages. You guys will see why this is so good in a second, because we haven't sacrificed our warriors, but you'll see why I've done the mages only. Then we've got Rathmar's Vigor. This is very strong. Overpowered damage is the main part of this build. Now, I think critical strike chance and damage could be really good, but I haven't tried that kind of setup. I haven't got the right pieces. Let me know if it works better than just plain up overpower, but this is really strong as is anyway. Then looking at the Book of the Dead, let's go through that quickly, guys. So with the Book of the Dead, as I mentioned before, I've got these guys, the defenders. They're just a bit tankier because it's all about spreading the amulet damage. And I wouldn't worry about this at all because your minions won't be hitting hard. They survive decently well, but don't worry about them doing damage. It's not about them. It's about you spamming your Blood Surge. And I didn't actually sacrifice them because I don't think it's worth it, to be honest. Here, if you look at some of the other ones, we get more strike chance, but it's up to you. Like I said, I didn't go for a crit version, and there's more shadow damage. Nothing really worth it there. But like I said before, that's why Memento Mori is activated to increase our sacrifice bonuses. This is great. Your overpowered damage is increased by 40%. amazing. This is a must do, and this is why we are hitting so hard, stacking all of that overpowered damage, because we have guaranteed overpower. As you guys can see, at 12 stacks, your next blood skill will overpower. Just being out of combat and just stacking this up gives you a guaranteed overpower. That's why a lot of times I need to wait in combat, maybe not just rush the next engagement. Then the first blood surge destroys most of the enemies. So you can see there's many other ways we've got overpower, as I mentioned in the aspects, the gear, and the skill tree, but this is just really good as well to stack it up. Then we have got golems we sacrificed here. You gain 10% increase in attack speed. Attack speed is very important to spam the blood surge more effectively, or whatever skill you want to be using. I really do like attack speed. I think it's very useful here. So that's it with the mages. That's it with the minions. Let's take a look at the Paragon board now. So the Paragon board is quite simple. You don't have to do it like this, but I found this to be the most effective. Gone to the right-hand side for more damage, maximum life. The glyph that I have used is very good, Blood Drinker. So this is going to be very useful. Grants plus 48% bonus to all magic nodes within range. These are all magic nodes. You guys can see this is going to help us a lot. They're within the red zone, which is great. But I think this is good as well because Blood Orbs fortify you for 7% of your maximum life. We have got so many Blood Orbs from the Blood Mist, consuming a corpse just from the hemorrhage, just from the basic skill. There's a lot of Blood Orbs. This is going to be really nice. You don't have to go for this, but I recommend it. Then I've unlocked some extra armor, intelligence, some damage, intelligence, specced over to the right-hand side. A little bit just dipped in there. Then moved over to this board right here, which is actually not what you would think. This is Bone Graft. The reason why I've gone for this is literally to go for the maximum essence, which is great. Essence on kill. This is very important for Necromancer to get your primary resource back. So I've dipped into that, literally moved out into the next board, which is going to be Bloodbath. There are two blood boards. I would go for the next one after this, just kind of unlock most of them. So I've gone to this side to get more damage while fortified. We are always going to be fortified generation. And then I've moved over here to the legendary node. Attacks that are guaranteed to overpower, which is a lot, deal 50% increased overpower damage. 50% increased overpower damage is a lot, and I recommend making sure that's activated. Then move over here to the overpower damage must have, just as important as this one, if not more. Very, very nice. Then I dip all the way here to get this glyph, which is going to be Gravekeeper, which is great. Grants 40% bonus to all rare nodes within range. As you guys can see, we've got a lot here. Damage while fortified, intelligence. It's up to you. You don't have to go for that. I don't have the best glyphs at the moment. Then we deal increased damage up to 12% for every close corpse. It's a lot of corpses when I'm playing and I'm up close to them. So this kind of makes sense. Then I've just gone for dexterity to get those activated. I might nip over here and get this, and then I might touch here as well later on for thick hide. But I will dip out here to the next board. That's pretty much it for the board. So here are the gear pieces. This is where the build is actually going to shine or going to fail. You guys need to get some of these pieces. The main piece is Death Speaker's Pendant, the ancestral unique amulet, which is great. It's got blood skill damage, summoning skill damage, overpowered damage, huge amounts, 2 ranks of coalesced blood passive. Blood Surge costs a mini nova on your minions, dealing 448 damage. Damage is increased by 10% per target drained by the initial cast up to 50%. Your minions are going to be casting this mini nova, and it does a lot of damage with the overpower. It is huge. You guys need this to make this build work in the higher tiers of content in this game. Otherwise, you're going to struggle. That's just it. Try farm legendary or try farm nightmare dungeons for this. That's how I got mine with some friends. Maybe if you're struggling, this is too good. You can use this build leveling through the game without this easily, but when you get over level 50, 60, you're going to probably need this if you're going to be doing more difficult content like nightmare dungeons that mitigate you, because some of the enemies will mitigate the blood damage. But I guess it's just dependent on you and how you're going to be playing and what content you're going to be playing in, but I do recommend getting this first. So with this build, it's quite simple. We want to stack up strength, any kind of buff after picking up a blood orb, overpowered damage, total armor, intelligence, controlled impaired duration, which is really good as well, attack speed, very important, extra ranks of the skills that you are going to be using. Those are the important things. Movement speed, essence cost reduction, vulnerable damage. So let's start from the top. So I've got this aspect right here. Blood mist triggers corpse explosion. This does a lot of damage on surrounding corpses. When blood mist detonates a corpse, its cooldown is reduced by 0.5 seconds. This allows us to spam blood mist. So it's really, really nice. It gets you out of trouble and it does damage. I recommend this. Then consuming corpse has a 28% chance to spawn a blood orb. That is a huge amount. Think about that. We are consuming corpses all the time, picking up blood orbs, fortifying, doing more damage, healing us. There's a lot going on with this build, and it does everything. It's really, really efficient and effective. So I'd recommend that. The gloves, blood surges, Nova echoes after a short delay, dealing 70% less damage. Necromancer only, so I've got the lowest roll. This is very important because blood surge is the main skill. So make sure you guys utilize this aspect. Temerity is an absolute must because it really does help with this aspect right here. Each percent of your maximum life you heal beyond 100%. You just proc a potion. This is how you do this. Grants 0.5% bonus overpower damage on your next overpowering attack, up to 56% bonus, which is insane. So we can do this by just proccing a potion because of temerity. Effects that heal you beyond 100% life grants you a barrier up to a certain percent of your maximum life that lasts for 8 seconds. So good, so much utility between the two using a potion. And because, potion drop rate comes on it, I got a 21% potion drop rate. Every time I get into a fight, I proc a potion because I'm getting more damage from my blood surge. So this is also quite important to do that. And you will always have at least 2 to 3 potions drop per wave of enemies because of the drop rate. So increase your drop rate. That's also a really good affix to go for. Then your maximum number of skeleton warriors is increased. This is just to spread the Nova from the amulet more. You don't have to use this. You can use whatever you want there. Then like I mentioned before, we've spoken about this, so much more damage. I recommend it. And I've gone for a 2-hander. You can use another one, but I do like the bonuses from this, lucky hit chance, and also cooldown reduction and attacks per second, which is important, like I mentioned earlier, to spam the skills. Then this amulet, guys, so much damage. Try and get this. This ring, restore 1 of your primary resource when you crowd control an enemy. Very important. Essence is difficult to come by with Necromancer, so this is great. You don't have to use this. It depends. I've tried it without. It still works, but I want to spam that juicy blood surge as often as possible. So I've gone for this one to get more resource every time you heal, because remember, we're going to be healing a lot with temerity and my weapon aspect. Then the final one, whenever your blood skills overpower, which is all the time, you gain 20% attack speed, more spamming. Great, works really well. So I love the pieces. The synergy is next level. Honestly, guys, it works so good. You can heal a lot, dish out lots of damage easily across the whole screen. If you're leveling, this is going to be a great build for you. If you're struggling to survive, give it a try. It's not the most OP build. I found it doesn't work a lot of the times, maybe because it's bugged, but it's really good and it's a lot of fun. So make sure you give it a try. Let me know what you guys think of the setup in the comments down below. Make sure to leave a like, subscribe, and I'll see you very soon in the next video. Peace out, guys.